All right, everyone, welcome to the March 6th meeting of the Environmental Advisory Council. We have a pretty short agenda, and I know that there might be a couple other members of the public either joining in person or on Zoom. But we'll go ahead and get started. First order of business is approving the minutes for the February 21st meeting I sent out earlier. I got a chance to check those over.
I did. It looks good. Thank you.
Good.
Looks good.
Great. All right. The next item is to go over the green building bonus memo. I made some changes just earlier today, mostly just to organize the content that we have there. Do you guys all have access to that on your devices? Why don't you look at it there, please?
I rode my bike, so I
understand the device. So I didn't change anything in the building materials section, I don't think, or the stormwater management. Under energy efficiency, I just kind of consolidated some stuff. We had some items in there about LED lighting, with windows and stuff. I grouped all of that under Energy Star certified, because I think there's Energy Star certification for all those different types of equipment. So we can kind of use that as sort of a, a guiding thing that they can look at and say, if this is Energy Star certified window, that's great, lighting and so on. We have a couple points on elastomeric coating for rooftops, and I added, unless the roof's being used for rooftop solar, since that's already in the conditional use ordinance, and vegetative walls. And so I grouped those together in their own category under heating and cooling efficiency, but we could rename that for that seemed like. Does that sound good to you, Ron?
yes. One thing next meeting I'll bring some photographs that we can put up is if you look at Northern Liberties, most of Philadelphia now, that's what they're using everywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're kind of behind the game. In Philadelphia, it's a requirement.
Oh, okay.
So all new construction, even the older structures are using it as well. So I'm going to bring some costing data as well.
Would this building be suitable for that?
Yes.
Okay. That sounds great. Let's talk about that.
There's a whole array of coatings too. So some that actually cool the building, and some that are more reflective and just a higher albedo. And then the costs are interesting compared to coming down rapidly. And if you don't have a lot of ponding of water on your roof, if you have a good roof, it works better. Some buildings are undulate. And the best example of use of these coatings are on the Lower Marion school structures.
Okay.
Look at high school from satellite.
Well, this seems good to have in here then, because
Yes.
one of the goals of this is that the applicant will meet with us and planning commission, and if they want to know more about it, we can tell them more about it. There were a couple other things that were on there that I removed either because they seemed like they were already addressed by the ordinance. So the EV chargers, having them be level 2, I can't imagine any commercially purchased charger wouldn't be level 2. So I don't know that needs to be put in there since there's already all the things about EV chargers in the ordinance. I didn't want this to get too unwieldy, so I don't know.
Right.
We can put it in if you guys want. We've talked about mentioning insulation, but that's already in the International Energy Conservation Code, and they have to meet those requirements anyway, so that's a redundant. Yeah. And then the other item was about light pollution. I think that's a good point, but there's already, I looked in the borough code, there's already provisions in there about exterior lighting and things like that. If that's something we want to address, I feel like that might be a broader issue you want to address rather than just putting in the conditional use language. So I started from that. What do you think about that? Is that good the way it is?
Yeah, yes, that treatment works for me.
Okay. Lee, are you happy with it?
Yeah.
Is it approved?
Yeah, approved.
Excellent.
Thank you, Joe.
No problem. I'll send this over to planning commission and hope that they will incorporate it into the next version of their plan there. So thanks. All right, our next agenda item, the main one we have for tonight is to talk more about the gas-powered aerial leaf blower, but really, I guess yard equipment might be a more general term. And so I don't see Dawn on the Zoom. But Jean, if I can turn it over to you, you have any updates for us?
Yeah, updates and a couple of questions. Dawn and I have done some asking around. She's approached the Garden Club and some other groups. I had a conversation with Schiff because we thought we'd like to have an education kind of informal or a gathering of like minds at Schiff sometime in the spring. And so in our discussions about kind of generating interest and kind of figuring out what people are thinking, it's come to our attention from several groups that there is already controversy about banning, and that's not my word, banning of gas powered blowers. So with that in mind, we just kind of wanted to come back to the EAC, and we do have a couple questions that hopefully will get us more focused on moving forward. Jesse, I know in the last meeting that you mentioned a possible consortium with Lower Merion Township.
Yeah, it was just a concept, just because I know they're working on the same thing.
Yeah, so there's nothing that's being formalized, or is there anything more than a concept?
I don't know what their status is. I know their EAC has also looked at a sort of a concept paper.
Oh yeah.
A white paper. I'm not sure if you've seen it from Nancy Winkler.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, if we could check in with them, if Lower Merion is motivated to pursue, and we are motivated to pursue, then I would say it makes sense to do it in a unified way. So that was all. That was my only point.
Okay.
Logistical, practical advantages and political advantages, and yeah.
Yeah, Dawn and I both agree. We've gone through the document pretty carefully, and it was kind of the basis for what our plan was moving forward.
Would you reach out to Nancy Winkler and see if there's any updates there?
Yeah, I've tried. I'll do it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feel free to, if you want to include me on the emails.
I will.
But that would be helpful. Go ahead and do that.
And I'll include Jesse if that's okay. Is that since?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, because there's neither of us feel like we should be reinventing anything. And I don't know what EAC, what you all think about kind of, if you need to go through the document and see if we want to have a group of readers to go through the document and see which makes sense for us.
The document.
The Lower Merion.
Yeah. We haven't discussed.
Do they have it?
Well, unless you have discussed it.
A white paper, that Nancy put together.
Okay.
But fairly.
I mean, I'd be willing to do a cheat sheet for you if that would be helpful.
That would be very helpful.
Great, and and happy to read the whole thing too.
Yeah.
Do we have a copy of it?
Yeah.
I have it from Nancy, or we have to pull it off there. Anyway, sounds like Jean has it.
I have it. Yeah, I can. I'll email it back to you if you want me to.
Did I send it to you?
I think Miriam sent it to us.
Okay.
Yeah, and anyway, and do know that the plan that we presented the last meeting, the February meeting, we did really use a lot of this document to kind of help us just structure our thinking. So we're on to bar with that. So let me see what else. Any comment about any pushback that you all have heard or anything about?
I haven't heard anything.
What kind of pushback are you getting?
Well, even we were trying to figure out if we had a meeting at Shift and kind of wanted to go over what we were going to our plan was, and maybe even talk about a little bit about what Lower Merion is doing, and then have an opportunity for people to talk about just kind of best practices for lawn care anyway, not just everybody going out and getting a new leaf blower. So that's when we've heard that people are not really happy with being told personally that they have to make the change. And there is some misunderstanding about that. And so we did want to kind of nip this in the bud before things started getting crazy. But on the other hand, we didn't want to be put in the middle of a group of angry citizens by ourselves.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So we will go. What we'd like to do is go forward with something in that Shift might offer us a time in May to do some grassroots work with some community members, like the NICE and the Garden Association, et cetera. So we will plan that. I've met with Shift; they're willing to help us in that. Yeah, and what do you think is a reasonable timeline? When would you like to see something that you could put forward?
Well, to me, I mean, one of my big questions about the feasibility, and that's where I think coordinating with Lower Merion might become really critical to all of this, because even if we came up with a plan that we thought, okay, this will limit the use of the gas-powered yard equipment in Narberth by these contractors, they're not necessarily going to be aware of that if they're working in Lower Merion, Narberth, and things like that. But if we coordinate with Lower Merion, I think that's potentially more effective. So I think it partly depends on where their thinking is at and what their time frame is as well.
Okay, all right, and that's something I can include in a cheat sheet for you.
Because I think if we can get an update on what they've learned and what they're thinking at this point, that would be really helpful.
Yeah. All right. That's good. I mean, I've met Nancy. I'm sure she didn't know who the hell Gene DeSabatino was, but when I emailed her. Okay. And that's about all of our questions. I'm sorry we're not, I haven't really made much progress this month.
That's okay. This is great. We appreciate all the effort you guys are putting into learning more about this and finding out, sharing with us what you learned. It's great.
Great. And just incidentally, I talked to my son today, who lives in Massachusetts. I think I've said this before. Massachusetts as a state gives rebates to customers. I said, well, Jake, is it through like your state taxes? He goes, no, you just give them receipts and they give you the money back. It's a pretty cool incentive for people to change.
I think the other thing that is helpful to keep in mind, during our birthday, we're going to coordinate with Jeff Eldon from Public Works to demo some of the borough's electric equipment.
Yeah, that was actually my suggestion to him. Yeah.
And I think that'll be great. So that when you talk with Shift, that might be a thing to let people know that's coming up in our birthday too. So that another opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, we had talked about health impacts.
Yeah.
And we had talked about, and I'm thinking specifically, we have a number of asthmatic individuals in the area. We've had some construction homes where they've demoed, and there have been concerns from residents regarding that. With leaf blowers, there's the particulate, and then there's the combustion. These are health issues, and we have talked before about the concern that this is our duty to provide for not impairing the health of our citizens or looking into those issues. So I was wondering if we're going to do a demonstration, maybe I would help with somebody if they want to team with me, put together some health information that we glean as to what the emissions are for the borough, approximate what we would be saving, and as far as asthmatic impacts, other things from I know those that are available from Health and the Health Agency,
Mhm.
Department of Health, and also for agencies. And then present that along with, this is the equipment, this is the benefit.
I think that's a great idea. Do you want to do some research on sources of information that we
Yeah.
can share with them?
I will say that the document that Laura Mary put together has, for your help in this, has maybe 6 or 7 pages of contacts information. So it's everything from health to politics.
Great,
Thank you.
that's a great idea. I agree. We should definitely do that. Makes sense to, you know, if we're gonna have this, talk about this stuff at our birthday, there's like, we can talk about this in its broader sense, health impacts, environmental impacts and so on. So,
At one point, we had, as one of our projects is, how could we, the playground, we were thinking, well, what can we do to lessen impacts from the cars and so from the playground and simple vegetation orchard, never went forward. But, you know, the blowers in the neighborhood, we talked about how we as a borough can improve the situation there with our equipment. But, you know, the emissions, migrate from the adjoining properties and neighborhoods through there as well, so it's something that we can quantify now. There's so much information.
good.
And they're cost effective remedies as well. And obviously, we talked quite a bit.
Okay, good. Anything else, Gene?
No, that's good.
Thank you for that update. And thanks for all your and Don's work on this. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hey, Gene, could you forward that document, or do you have it, Jessica?
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gene. Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
All right. We had a short agenda today. The only other items were to check on, I did check on Borough Council and Council Committee agendas. I don't think there's anything actionable that we need to do on those right now. Do you have any public comment?
Yeah.
Less noise would be great, that's it.
Okay.
It is deafening. As a construction worker, I am deafened by our landscapers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great point. Yeah, I think that's something we can factor into, the
Quality of life.
and the quality of
In
life.
addition to being able to breathe.
Yeah. Breathing and hearing are both things we support.
We think, yeah.
We're gonna go out on a limb.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. Anything else? Nancy, Louise, or Jean, anything else you guys want to share with us? Hi, Nancy. You're muted. We can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just listening and catching up on what's been going on. I have a lot of other issues, but they're not on the agenda, so I'm going to hold off for another time.
Okay, if there's anything you ever want to share, just let me know, and I can be sure to put that on the agenda.
Okay,
for discussion.
sure, thanks.
Anything else that you guys wanted to talk about?
We just had that EV charger thing. I don't know if you had gotten any additional information from.
I haven't had more time, excuse me, to work on it.
Okay.
But it's on my list.
I know we're trying to see if we can get more data from them.
Yeah, I want to, yes,
We don't know if it's been filtered or what, you know, what you're receiving has been filtered or.
I will contact, the borough staff. Anything else? Okay. That's the end of our meeting. Thank you,
Very
everyone.
sweet.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.